I'll be showing you how to make these. So the rice on both of them is the same, and the straps on both of them is also the same, but just in different colours. So let's begin with the rice. So to make the rice, we're going to begin with white yarn, and we're going to start with the slip knot onto hook, and we're going to chain 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So next we're going to do a single crochet into the second chain from hook, and we're going to do a single crochet into the next 5 chains. So 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And that's going to leave us with 1 chain extra, and into this last chain I'm going to do 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So that's rotated our work, so we're going to be working into the back side of the foundation chains we made, so the opposite side of the foundations. So now I'm going to single crochet 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And into the last stitch of this round I'm going to do 3 single crochets. So 1, 2 and 3. So at the end of this round we have 18 stitches. For the next round we want to increase to 26 stitches. So to do that, into the first stitch of this round I'm going to do 3 single crochets all into this first chain space. 1, 2 and 3. And now I'm going to single crochet across 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And into the next stitch I'm going to do 3 single crochets. 1, 2 and 3. Just loosen some yarn. Now I'm going to single crochet across 2 stitches. 1 and 2. Into the next stitch I'm going to do 3 single crochets all into the same chain, the same stitch. 1, 2 and 3. Now single crochet 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Into the next stitch 3 single crochets again, so 3 single crochets into the next stitch. 1, 2 and 3, and then single crochet across 2. 1 and 2. And the purpose of that round was to make what will be our rice look rectangular rather than circular. So for the next round I'm going to single crochet around these 26 stitches, but in the back loop only. So I'm going to go under the back loop of each stitch and single crochet around. So 26 single crochets in the back loop only. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 and 26. Next we're going to single crochet around these 26 stitches for 3 rows, but we're going to be going through both of the loops now. So 26 stitches 3 times, and I'll meet you back here when I've nearly completed mine. So after you've completed your 3 rows around, we're going to decrease, and we're going to decrease back to 18 stitches. So to do that I'm going to single crochet into 2 stitches, 1 and 2, And now I'm going to single crochet 3 stitches together. To do that, I'm going to insert my hook under the front loop of the first stitch, insert it under the front loop of the second stitch, then insert it under the front loop of the third stitch. So I have 4 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 3 loops. So there are 2 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through both of these loops. And that is how I'm going to single crochet 3 stitches together. Next, I'm going to single crochet 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And now we're going to single crochet 3 stitches together again. So 3 stitches together. And now I'm going to single crochet 2. 1 and 2. Now I'm going to single crochet 3 stitches together again. So single crochet 3 stitches together. Do that one again. Single crochet 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And then single crochet 3 stitches together one more time. So 3 stitches together for the last time. There we go. So we now have 18 stitches, and on the next row we want to decrease to 12. So I'm going to single crochet into 1 stitch and then single crochet 2 stitches together 6 times. So single crochet 1 and then decrease for 2. So just back to our normal decreases of 2. Single crochet 3, decrease for 4, single crochet 5, decrease for 6, single crochet 7, decrease for 8, single crochet 9, decrease for 10, single crochet 11, decrease for 12. So I've now finished with my white yarn, so I am going to slip stitch into the next stitch to join, chain 1 and fasten off, and leave a bit of a tail as normal. So next we want to put some stuffing into this little rice packet, this little rice pouch. You want to use your fingers to make it into the shape of a rectangle. And this part now is the top of our work, so this is always going to be the part that's flat down on the ground. So once you have stuffed it just as much as you like, we're going to take our yarn tail, we're going to attach it to our embroidery needle, and we're going to close this hole using mattress stitch. So we're not going to close it into a circle, I want to close it in a line like that. So I'm going to go underneath 2 stitches on one side and then go up through 2 stitches on the other side. And I'm going to work my way up the hole, doing the same thing, pulling the yarn tail as I go, and that's going to close this hole. There we go. And when you're happy with it, make sure you weave your tail in well. So with the pink yarn, we're going to do a slip knot onto hook, and I'm going to chain 2. So 1 and 2. Into the second chain from hook, I'm going to do 6 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. For the next row, I want to increase from these 6 stitches to 12. To do that, I'm going to do 2 single crochets into every stitch beneath. So into the first stitch, 1 and 2. Into the second stitch, 3 and 4. Into the third, 5 and 6. Into the fourth, 7 and 8. Into the fifth, and 10, and into the last stitch of this round, stitches number 11 and 12. So we're going to single crochet around these 12 stitches for 9 rows. So 9 rounds of single crochet, and I'll meet you back here when I'm nearly done. So when you've finished your 9th round, you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch to join and fasten off. Pull our yarn tail through, and then with this long yarn tail, we're going to pop it onto our embroidery needle. I'm going to stuff this yarn tail into the work, and I'm going to go around and pick up the front loops of the remaining 12 stitches. And when you've got them all, you're going to pull to close that hole. Weave in this yarn tail just a little bit, and then I'm going to push this tail through my work and bring it out in the centre, because I'll use this piece to sew it onto my rice. So if I bring the rice we made in earlier, and I'm going to, the part that we sewed together, that's the part that should be facing up, and we're going to attach that part to this fish at the top. So with my yarn tail, I'm going to sew a hole right down the centre of the rice, just to anchor that piece of fish into place, and now I'm going to sew it into place. Now make sure wherever you bring your yarn out of, whatever stitch you bring your yarn out of, you put it back into that stitch so that you don't leave a pink mark. So I'm going to put my needle back into the same stitch and bring it out up top, and if you see there's no pink mark on the side, and then I'm going to sew it back down, come out a different stitch, make sure to go back into the same stitch and bring it out a different position, and this is how we are going to attach this piece of fish in inverted commas. So we're just going to go around and do little stitches to secure, and when you're happy that it's sewn down enough, you can cut this yarn. With black DK yarn, I'm going to do a slip knot onto hook, and I'm going to chain 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. And now I'm going to single crochet into the second chain from hook and all other chains across, so we'll have 17 stitches. So single crochet into all the chains across. And when you get to the last chain or the last stitch, I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and I'm going to single crochet back along all these stitches. So 17 single crochets. And when you finish the last stitch of that row, I'm going to chain 1 to fasten off and cut my yarn. And I'm going to pop I'm going to pop this long tail onto my needle, and then I can wrap it around the centre of my sushi, so that the two ends meet at the bottom, and I can sew to join. And then I can weave my ends in and out and cut them. So next we'll be making this one. So we already know how to make the rice, and we already know how to make this seaweed wrap because we made it with this one. So I'm going to show you how to make this fish. So with orange DK yarn, I'm going to start with a slip knot onto hook, and I'm going to chain 2. 1 and 2. And into the second chain from hook, I'm going to do 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now for the next round I'm going to increase to 12 stitches, So I'm going to do 2 single crochets into every stitch. So 1 and 2 into the first stitch, 3 and 4 into the second stitch, 5 and 6 into the third stitch, 7 and 8 into the fourth, 9 and 10 into the fifth, 11 and 12 into the sixth. So we now have 12 stitches, and I'm going to single crochet around these 12 stitches for 11 rows. So I'll meet you back here when I'm nearly done. So after you've finished your 11th round, for the next round we're going to decrease back to 6 stitches. So to do that, we're going to single crochet 2 stitches together 6 times. So single crochet 2 together for 1, decrease for 2, decrease for 3, decrease for 4, decrease for 5, and decrease for 6. So now I'm going to make sure my fish is pressed flat, and we want to close this end up. So to do that, I'm going to make 3 single crochets going across, joining the 2 sides together. So I'm going to insert my hook through 1 set of stitches and then another set of stitches at the back, yarn over and pull up and complete a single crochet. And I'm going to do that again and again at the end. So I closed the hole at the bottom of the fish doing 3 single crochets. Now I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn my work. Into this first single crochet, this first stitch, I'm going to do 2 double crochets. So 2 double crochets into that first stitch. Then I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and I'm going to slip stitch back into the same stitch. There we go. I'm going to slip stitch along into the second stitch, and then I'm going to slip stitch again along into the third stitch. Once we're into the third stitch, I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And now I'm going to do 2 double crochets into this stitch, 1 and 2. I'm going to chain 3 again, 1, 2, and 3, and then I'm going to slip stitch back into the same stitch. And now I'm going to chain 1 and fasten off. And there you have the little fishy. So with this yarn tail, I'm just going to pop it onto an embroidery needle, and I'm going to weave it into the fish. Next, I'm going to cut a length of white yarn. I'm going to pop that onto my embroidery needle. And in the back of the fish, I'm going to bring the needle up from the bottom of the fish, and we're inside. I'm not going through the fish, the needle is inside the fish. And I'm going to come out at the top. And to make the detail on the fish, so we bring this in and we put it there to show you, to make the lines on the fish, I'm going to draw the yarn through and leave about a 6-inch tail coming out the bottom. And I'm going to wrap the yarn around the fish, so this will be the top of the fish. I'm going to wrap the yarn around it and into the same stitch that I brought the yarn out of. I'm going to go back into that same stitch, count 2 rows down and come back out again, and then pull that tail right the way through. So we've wrapped that white yarn around the fish to make its first stripe. In the position where the yarn has came out, we're going to do that again. So I'm going to wrap the yarn around the fish again and pop it back into the same stitch, bringing it out 2 rows down, and we're going to do that again. So I'm going to wrap the yarn around the fish, and you can keep turning to check how it looks at the front. I'm going to insert the needle back into the same stitch and bring it back out of the middle. I'm just going to reposition these before I pull tight. There we go. So I'll use these 2 end tails now to sew the fish onto the rice. So if I bring my rice square back in, make sure you've got the right side facing up, and I'm going to hold my fish where I want it on the rice, and then I'm going to insert my needle and sew the fish into place. Remember to always go out the same hole that you came, go back into the same hole that you came out of to not leave a mark. Then I can bring in my seaweed wrap. I've made it this time out of green. I'm going to attach it the same way I did for our pink sushi. So pop the end onto my embroidery needle, and I'm going to wrap it around the fish and secure in the back by tying or sewing these two ends together. And there you have the finished little fishies. And next I'll be showing you how to make the sushi stick. So I know that's not what it's called, and don't forget I'll be putting the names in the corner of what the name of these sushis actually are. So for this we're going to begin with brown yarn. So I've got my brown DK yarn, and I'm going to slip knot onto hook, and I'm going to chain 6. 1, 2. So with my brown DK yarn, I'm going to slip knot onto hook, and I'm going to chain 2. 1 and 2. And into the second chain from hook, we're going to do 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So we have 6 stitches, and I'm going to single crochet around these 6 stitches for 7 rows. So single crochet around these stitches 7 times. So after we finished our 7 rounds, I'm going to slip stitch to join and fasten off with our brown. Pull through, and I'm going to introduce my first colour, which will be green. So to add the new colour, I'm going to do a slip knot onto hook. I'm then going to insert my hook into any of the stitches on this row. I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop, so I have 2 loops on my hook, and then going to yarn over and pull through both of these loops. So I have attached the green yarn and done my first single crochet. So for this next round we want to increase from 6 stitches to 12. To do that I'm going to do 2 single crochets into every stitch. So I've also already done my first single crochet into this stitch, so we need to do another one to make it 2. So into the next stitch increase for 3 and 4, into the next stitch 5 and 6, into the next 7 and 8, into the next 9 and 10, into the next 11 and 12. So we now have 12 stitches, and on our next round we want to increase to 18. To do that I'm going to single crochet 1 and then do 2 single crochets into the following stitch 6 times. So I'm going to single crochet, get all these tails out the way, and I'm going to single crochet for 1, increase in the next stitch for 2 and 3, single crochet for 4, increase in the next stitch for 5 and 6, single crochet 7, increase in the next stitch for 8 and 9, single crochet 10, increase in the next for 11 and 12, single crochet 13, increase in the next for 14 and 15, and then single crochet 16 and increase in the last stitch of this round for 17 and 18. So we have 18 stitches and we're going to increase again to 24. To do that I'm going to single crochet into 2 stitches and then do 2 single crochets into the following stitch 6 times. So single crochet for 1 and 2, then increase in the next stitch for stitches number 3 and 4. Single crochet 5, 6, increase in the next stitch for 7 and 8. Single crochet 9 and 10, increase in the next stitch for 11 and 12. Single crochet 13 and 14, increase in the next stitch for 15 and 16. Single crochet 17 and 18, increase in the next stitch for 19 and 20. Single crochet 21, 22, and increase in the last stitch of this round for 23 and 24. So we now have 24 stitches, and we're going to single crochet around these 24 stitches for 5 rows. So 5 rounds of single crochet. So after your 5 rounds, at this point I just want to stuff the stick to make sure I can reach it. So I'm going to shove all them tails, them yarn tails, into it, and then I'm going to grab some polyfill to use for the rest. There we go. So now we're going to start decreasing. So you remember we have 24 stitches and we're going to decrease to 18. To do that, I'm going to single crochet into 2 stitches and then single crochet 2 stitches together, and I'm going to do that 6 times. So single crochet 1 and 2, and then decrease for number 3. Single crochet 4 and 5, then decrease for number 6. Single crochet 7 and 8, decrease for number 9. Single crochet 10 and 11, decrease for number 12. Single crochet 13, 14, decrease for 15. Single crochet 16, 17, and decrease for 18. So on the next round we're going to decrease again from 18 stitches to 12. To do that, I'm going to single crochet into 1 stitch and then single crochet 2 stitches together 6 times. So single crochet 1, decrease for 2. Single crochet 3, decrease for 4. Single crochet 5, decrease for 6. Single crochet 7, decrease for 8. Single crochet 9, decrease for 10. Single crochet 11 and decrease for 12. So we've got one more decrease to do, but before I do that I'm going to put some of my polyfill into my ball. Then I can reinsert my hook, and for our final decrease round I'm going to decrease from 12 stitches to 6, so I'm going to single crochet 2 stitches together 6 times. So decrease for 1, decrease for 2, decrease for 3, decrease for 4, decrease for 4 again, decrease for 5, and decrease for 6. So now we want to fasten off with this green yarn, so slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 1 and fasten off, and we're finished with our green yarn. So now it's time to add our yellow colour, so I'm going to slip knot onto my hook, insert my hook into any stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. So there are 2 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through the 2 loops. So I have attached my yellow colour and done my first single crochet. So for this next round we want to increase to 12 stitches again, so we're going to do another 2 single crochets into every stitch, and obviously I've already done my first single crochet into this stitch, so I need to do another one. So 2 single crochets into that first stitch, then we're going to increase in the second stitch again for 3 and 4, increase in the next for 5 and 6, increase in the next for 7 and 8, increase again for 9 and 10, and increase in the last stitch of this round for 11 and 12. So we have 12 stitches, and we're going to increase again to have 18 stitches. So I'm going to single crochet into one stitch and then do 2 single crochets into the following stitch 6 times. So single crochet 1, increase for 2 and 3, single crochet 4, increase for 5 and 6, single crochet 7, increase for 8 and 9, single crochet 10, increase for 11 and 12, single crochet 13 and increase for 14 and 15, single crochet 16 and increase in the last stitch for 17 and 18. So we want to increase to 24 stitches again. So if you remember to do that, we're going to single crochet into 2 stitches and then do 2 single crochets into the following stitch 6 times. So single crochet for 1 and 2, increase in the next stitch for 3 and 4, single crochet 5 and 6, increase in the next stitch for 7 and 8, single crochet 9 and 10, increase in the next stitch for 11 and 12, single crochet 13 and 14, increase in the next stitch for 15 and 16, single crochet 17 and 18, increase in the next stitch for 19 and 20, single crochet 21, 22, and increase in the next stitch for 23 and 24. So we now have 24 stitches again, and we're going to single crochet around these 24 stitches for 5 rows, just like we did with the green. So I'll meet you back here when I'm nearly done. So after the 5 rounds, it's now time to start decreasing again. So I'm going to decrease from 24 stitches to 18. So remember, we're going to single crochet into 2 stitches, then single crochet 2 stitches together 6 times. So single crochet 1 and 2, decrease for 3, single crochet 4 and 5, decrease for 6, single crochet 7, 8, decrease for 9, single crochet 10, 11, decrease for 12, single crochet 13, 14, decrease for 15, single crochet 16 and 17 and decrease for 18. So again, we're going to decrease to 12 stitches. So we're going to single crochet into 1 stitch and then single crochet 2 stitches together 6 times. So single crochet 1 and decrease for 2, single crochet 3, decrease for 4, single crochet 5, decrease for 6, single crochet 7, decrease for 8, single crochet 9, decrease for 10, single crochet 11 and decrease for 12. So before we go any further, I'm going to pull my loop up again and I'm going to stuff the yellow ball. And then I can reinsert my hook and do my last round of decreasing. So decrease from 12 stitches to 6. So I'm going to single crochet 2 stitches together 6 times. So decrease for 1, decrease for 2, decrease for 3, decrease for 4, decrease for 5, and decrease for 6. Now we can fasten off with yellow, so slip stitch to join, chain 1 and fasten off. And we're finished. And now for our last colour change, I'm going to be bringing in my pink yarn and I'm going to attach it the same way I've attached the other colours. So I'm going to insert my hook into any of the stitches, yarn over to pull up a loop, so there are 2 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through both of these loops. So we have 6 stitches, which we're going to increase again to 12, so 2 single crochets into every stitch. So I've already done 1 into this stitch, so I'm going to do another for 2. Increase again in the next stitch for 3 and 4, increase into the next for 5 and 6, into the next for 7 and 8, the next for 9 and 10, and into the last for 11 and 12. Now we're going to increase to 18 stitches. So to do that, we're going to single crochet into 1 stitch and then do 2 single crochets into the following stitch 6 times. So single crochet into the first stitch for 1 and increase into the next stitch for 2 and 3. Single crochet 4, increase into the next stitch for 5 and 6, single crochet 7, increase in the next stitch for 8 and 9, single crochet 10, increase in the next stitch for 11 and 12, single crochet 13, increase in the next stitch for 14 and 15, single crochet 16, and increase in the last stitch for 17 and 18. So for the next round is our last increase round, and we're going to increase from 12 to 24. So we're going to single crochet 2 stitches and then do 2 single crochets into the following stitch 6 times. So single crochet 1 and 2, increase in the next stitch for 3 and 4, single crochet 5 and 6, increase in the next stitch for 7 and 8, single crochet 9 and 10, increase in the next stitch for 11 and 12, single crochet 13 and 14, increase in the next stitch for 15 and 16, single crochet 17 and 18, increase in the next stitch for 19 and 20, single crochet 21 and 22, and increase in the last stitch for 23 and 24. And now we're going to single crochet around these 24 stitches for 5 rounds, and I'll meet you back here just before I finish. Now it's time to do our last set of decreasing. So we have 24 stitches and we're going to decrease to 18. So we're going to single crochet into 2 stitches and then single crochet 2 stitches together 6 times. So single crochet 1 and 2, decrease for 3, single crochet 4 and 5, decrease for 6, single crochet 7 and 8, decrease for 9, single crochet 10, 11, decrease for 12, single crochet 13 and 14, decrease for 15, single crochet 16 and 17, decrease for 18. Now our last decrease of the whole thing, so our last decrease from 18 stitches to 12. So I'm going to single crochet into one stitch and then single crochet 2 stitches together. So single crochet 1, decrease for 2, single crochet 3, decrease for 4, single crochet 5, decrease for 6, single crochet 7, decrease for 8, single crochet 9, decrease for 10, single crochet 11 and decrease for 12. So we're now going to slip stitch to join. Have to do that one again. So decrease for 12, slip stitch to join, chain 1 and fasten off. So the only thing I've got left to do is to stuff this pink ball and to close the gap. So with my polyfill, I'm going to do my last stuff. And then if I take the yarn tail, pop it onto my embroidery needle, I'm going to pick up the front loops of the remaining 12 stitches, and just before I pull that tight, I'm going to add a little bit more stuffing, and then I'm going to pull the yarn tail to close that hole and weave in this tail. Then you just want to spend a second to push everything into place and to mould it into shape. So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Sushi is one of my favourite foods. It's just a shame that I can't pronounce any of the names. So if you make these things, any of them, don't forget to tag me on Instagram using the hashtag Teeny Crochets. And other than that, I hope you have a lovely day and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.